Hi, my name is Rhoda. My husband and I are in Bible Translation Ministry. I'm also a content creator. I create content for Gen Z and millennial Christians who are struggling with a lot of doubts. And welcome to Stay Strong series. Pause. Take a moment. Just look around. The world feels like it's spinning faster and falling apart at the same time. News of war, rumors of war. Artificial intelligence is reshaping how we live, learn, work, and even think. Technology is advancing, but loneliness is multiplying as well. Mental health struggles are at all time high. Churches are shrinking, trust is declining. Millennials say we are burnt out. Gen Zs are saying you don't get us. And the older generation, they are like, what's happening to the world? We are all speaking, but no one feels heard. And as believers, especially those trying to minister, to lead, to live boldly for Christ, it's easy to feel like you're swimming upstream in a culture that constantly keeps changing its direction. Maybe you've asked, how do I share Jesus when people don't even believe in religion anymore? Is it even possible to be faithful when truth feels like it's up for a debate? Why did God place me in such a time as this? Or what's the point of it all? And that's exactly where the book of Esther speaks so powerfully, because Esther lived in uncertain times too. The book of Esther is unique because it's one of the only two books in the Bible where God is never directly mentioned. There's no burning bush, there's no pillar of fire or angel coming down from the heaven to talk, or not even a single thus says the Lord. And yet, God's hand is everywhere, beautifully orchestrating everything that's happening in the book of Esther. Esther was a young Jewish woman, essentially trafficked into a beauty pageant to become a queen to a pagan Persian king. She wasn't a priest, she wasn't a prophetess, she was just a girl caught in a broken system under a pagan empire with an identity that she couldn't fully express. But then comes this pivotal moment when an evil plot is about to destroy her entire people, and her cousin Mordecai tells her, who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? We see this in Esther 4:14. He's saying, Esther, you didn't choose this. You didn't plan this. But you are here right now, not by accident, not by coincidence. You are positioned by God on purpose, for purpose, even in the middle of a mess. Sounds very familiar, right? Many of us live in a culture where God is barely acknowledged. We scroll through contents, podcasts, debates, where truth is relative and identity is so confused and hope feels like a buzzword, not a reality. Just like in Esther's time, God may not be named, but that doesn't mean he's not at work. Esther reminds us that the silence of God is never the absence of God. Just like God placed Esther in the Persian palace, he has placed you in this cultural moment. Not in the 1800s, not in the early church, not even in the 90s, but here, now, for such a time as this. So remember this, God calls ordinary people into extraordinary purposes. Esther wasn't a warrior, she didn't feel qualified. She was scared, in fact. She had every reason to stay silent. But Mordecai's words stirred her to action. He basically says, Esther, your comfort is not your calling. And that's true for us too, right? You may feel you're unequipped, you may feel overwhelmed, but God uses willing hearts, not perfect resumes. Think about it. You might be a student, but God has placed you in that classroom for such a time as this. You might be working in a 9 to 5 job. God has placed you in that room for such a time as this. Or you might be parenting a difficult child, or caring for aging parents, or mentoring a struggling friend. It feels like nothing is big about your life. But don't miss this. God does big things through people who say yes in the small. So stay strong, because you're called and commissioned for such a time as this.